Doing this first? Yeah.
פרקים מתהילים קכ"א, קל"ט. שיר למעלות עצה להרים מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי עם אדוני עושה שמיים וארץ. הניתן למות רגליך.
Very told everyone. It's amazing how the greatest commentary to current events is the Torah. We now read Parshat Breshit. Parshat Breshit is the most mysterious of all of the parshas of the Torah. We don't really know what it says, what it describes, but it does, according to all the Meforshim, leave us with values and a sense of proportion and an understanding, however meager, of how life is to be lived and what our purpose here is and what Klal Yisrael stands for. So Rabbi Koenigsberg yesterday put it simply and eloquently that we are involved in a moral struggle of good versus evil. And that struggle, as much as we would wish it to be solved by compromise and good intentions, historically, that has never happened. It's either or. And that the struggle always involves a price. And the price is paid by different people on different levels. But we are all paying a price. We see that in this week's Parsha. After the Chet of Adam Rishon, eating the Eitz Hadas, the Torah tells us that Cain kills Hevel. The Torah doesn't tell us any background story, except that they both sought somehow to bring sacrifices to Hashem, and Hevel was more accepted, and Cain resented it, and he killed him. The Torah doesn't explain it to them. There are midrashim, there are sforim on it. It's without, because Parshat Breshit is without an end. But the simple story ain't a mikra yotzei midei pshuto. The simple story is Cain killed Hevel. So Cain is a murderer. Yet he survives. The Rebbeinu Shalom grants him 7 generations. Eventually he's killed by his own descendant, which is always what happens to evil. Evil consumes evil. But meanwhile, he's around. And he's the only one around, because Adam Rishon, according to the Torah, retires for 130 years. So there is no force for good left in the world. Hevel is dead. Cain is the only one that's around. The world has no future. If there's no counter force to Cain, then the world really has no future. And this is all Bechira Chovshis. Cain is Cain because he wants to be Cain. He chose to be Kain. It's not ordained that he has to be an evil person. So then the Torah says that all of a sudden, after this period of time, Adam Rishon wakes up, so to speak, and they have another child, Chase. One of the favorite modern American names for Jews. Kishosli Elohim ben Zera Acher Hevel ki harogo chai. The Lord has given me another child to substitute for Hevel because Hevel was killed by Cain. So Chase is the introduction of the power of good. There's now going to be a counter force in the world. It won't be only Cain. Now, it's going to take a long time for Chase to develop, because good always is slower than evil. Evil is immediate now. You see how long it takes us to, I'm not a military expert, but you see how long it takes to regroup and try and put yourself together? Asora Doros, Meodam Vad Noach, 10 generations before evil Sunlight receives a blow. And when the blow comes, it's enormous. Wipes everything out. Noah has 3 sons, Shem, Chom, and Yafes. So again, it's distributed. Chom is evil. He's evil to his father. He's evil to humanity. Yefes is more or less passive. It's the European Union. It's not evil, but it tolerates it. And then there's Shem. So Shem reintroduces, because Noah is struck by the trauma of what happened to evil, never recovered from it. Shem slowly tries to build good. So it's Asora Doros Minoach V'Yad Avraham. Takes 10 generations to build good again. That there should be a counter force. Meanwhile, Chom and Yefes, they're running the world. Kings, empires, wealth, power. It's ironic that the Gemara always considers Shem is the founder of yeshivas. Shem v'Ever. They're a yeshiva, whatever that means. Force for good. There's a force for good in the world to oppose evil, so then the world can continue. Because it's like the tortoise and the hare. Eventually the tortoise wins the race. Eventually good prevails. So now comes Avraham Avinu, who's an enormous force for good. Who really takes on evil and influences people to oppose it. But again, Avram as Yishmael was evil. So then he has to have a miraculous son. Avram said, Vanochi olech hariri. Uven meshek beisi Eliezer, domestic Eliezer. Eliezer can't do it. Eliezer comes from Cain. Eliezer comes from Chom. Eliezer can't do it. So we have Yitzchak as the force for good. Yishmael wants to kill Yitzchak. Tzachik, it's a joke to them. It's a video clip. Yitzchak continues. So to oppose Yishmael, so he has Yaakov, but he also has Esav. Esav is again evil. Esav wants to kill Yaakov. It's Cain and Abel. It's Yishmael and Yitzchak. So Yaakov has to go into Golus. He has to run away from his home. He has to wander the world. He has to work for cheaters and liars. And he's always responsible. He's the one that's held to account. Esav is never held to it. Esav sits on the Security Council. He has a veto. Vayivoser Yaakov levado. And Yaakov is left alone in the world alone. And he has to wrestle to stay alive. And he wrestles not only with human beings, but with concepts, with angels, with those who claim heaven belongs to them. And Yaakov has 12 sons and a daughter. Each of the sons are righteous. Each of the sons, in their own right, represent good. But they can't get along. They make demonstrations. They make protests. They holler at each other. They curse each other. They sell a brother into slavery. But Yosef is the force for good. Yosef is the one that restores all the brothers. Ani Yosef. Aod Avichai. If I'm Yosef, Yaakov is still alive. There's a force for good in the world. And that is the story from Chumash Bereishis till October 9th, 2023. So we have to reinforce the force for good. We have to say, Ani Yosef. Od Avichai, yeah, Yaakov is alive. Yitzchak's alive. Doesn't matter that there's Esav and Yishmael. What matters is us. There are no coincidences, certainly in Jewish life. The fact that what is transpiring and will continue to transpire will all be in the parshas that we read in Chumash Bereishis. The Torah is talking to us. The Torah wants us to understand, to have a glimpse of what it wants. Michacham v'yovein eileh, novon v'yedoi. The test of our wisdom is to hear, to listen, to appreciate, to strengthen ourselves. And at the end of Chumash Bereishis, we will all stand in shul and say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nis chazek. We'll be zocher to that as well. And that we'll see and hear good tidings, we hope as soon as possible. Erev Tov.